Hello. Well, not freshly shaven, but recently shaven. Not the way I prefer it, but my son has very much enjoyed playing with my double chin now that he can easily see it, which is probably the reason why I like the beard. In honor of my son, apparently, I have another lullaby I want to play. I will tell a little bit about the motivation in writing these lullabies after I'm finished with it. So if you want to stick around, you can hear it. But if not, you can just hear the song. Good night, my son. There is no need to cry. Good night, my son, as dark falls across the sky. Good night, my son, the sun to sleep partakes. But he'll be here in the morning when you wake. Good night, my son, you'll be safe and you'll be warm. Good night, my son, and worry for no storm. Good night, my son, the moon now overtakes. But I'll be here in the morning when you wake. I will be here when that sunlight first peeks over mountains east. I will be here when the sky takes pastel hues. And I'll be here then when Venus' light up high above has ceased. I'll be here when the clouds dance in the blue. I'll be here for you, I'll adore you. For before your Nonnie bore you, we were waiting for your entrance in our lives. Good night, my son, there is no need to cry. Good night, my son, as dark falls across the sky. Good night, my son, the sun to sleep partakes. But we'll be here in the morning when you wake. So there's the song. And here is a little bit of a story about me, my life, my wife's life, my son's short life so far, hopefully long and prosperous. Happy is more important than anything else. My wife and I got married a long time ago, all the way back in 2004. Yeah, it's been a long time. We've been married 21 years now. And when we got married, we were expecting to have children, not necessarily right away, but we were definitely wanting to be parents. It was a big part of our perspective on the future. And within the first couple of years, my wife got pregnant a couple of times, and we lost the pregnancy to a miscarriage. And it wasn't the most worrisome thing, at least for me back then, because in the back of my mind, I was thinking, well, I'm a little young, and things are still tight and a little difficult, and I'm okay if we put off being parents. I didn't want to put off trying, but I was okay if it took a little bit more time. But those first two miscarriages turned into 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7 and all the way up into the double digits. Many miscarriages. My poor wife obviously shouldered the bulk of that pain and that experience. It wasn't easy for me, but she was the one who was experiencing it physically, and it was very difficult for her. And we eventually reached a point, maybe 10 years into our marriage, where I kind of started to become more, not comfortable, but accepting of the idea that I wasn't going to get to be a father. And it was really heartbreaking. It tore me up. It tore me up emotionally. It tore me up physically. It was It was a great hardship and a great trial coming to this, what I perceived to be a reality, that I wasn't going to get to be a dad. And I wanted to be a dad real bad. And, but it's a beautiful story. It's not a sad story. It's a beautiful story because it didn't work out the way I was hoping. It didn't work out the way I was fearing. It worked out in a way that we were hoping, and that is that we were approached by a beautiful relative of my wife who offered to carry a child for us. And we bless her name in this home ever since, and we call her Nonnie. That is what my son refers to her as, and that is what we call her, is Nonnie as well. And God bless her for the sacrifice that she gave to us. And long story short, it was a very long story, but my son's Nonnie carried my boy within her womb and cared for him and provided his nutrition as he was growing within her womb and gave birth to him. And after that, even was so loving and giving that she was willing to pump her milk. And we don't live next door. We live about 8 hours away from each other. And every month or two, we would meet up in the middle and we would exchange a styrofoam box of frozen breast milk and have lunch at a little place. And I would bring the breast milk back, and we would use that to feed my boy as he was still drinking breast milk. So not only did his Nonnie give him life, but she gave him nutrition and nutrients afterwards. And we're currently a little less than 3 years into our adventure with being parents, and it's been a beautiful thing for us. We went through a lot. We suffered a lot. There was a lot of pain that was felt, but it's almost like we have been granted, I'm sure it's a temporary reprieve of all that pain. I'm sure that there are painful things in the world we're still going to have to experience, but we've been so happy for the past 3 years. And even with the late nights and the sacrifices, my wife is just a wonderful mother. She gives everything to my boy. And the universe has provided for us in the sense that we can provide for him. And we're not as stressed as we otherwise might have been. And we've cooled out a little bit from what we were like 20 years ago. I think I have a different perspective on a lot of things, and it's probably influenced the way that I parent generally. So maybe that by itself is a better thing. But this song, this is a lullaby for my son, but it's also a song in honor of his Nonnie. With the line that says, "I'll be here for you, I'll adore you, for before your Nonnie bore you, we were waiting for your entrance in our lives." So this is a beautiful example to me of how the sacrifice from one person can really plant an orchard for another person that will provide fruit and blessings and shade and all sorts of things in the future. So Nonnie, we want to say we love you and thank you so much for our boy. And for anybody else listening, I hope you enjoyed this song. I hope you enjoyed the lullaby. I still have a few more to sing, so stick around. God bless you all, and peace be with you.